Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Katherine.
And we are senior stylists at Verde Salon. So tell me, why did you want to leave your old salon?
Honestly, when I left my last salon, I felt as though the culture just wasn't there for me anymore. Culture is super important, especially because I'm spending so much time at the salon. And I felt like the value for both senior stylist and junior stylist wasn't a priority. Mm-hmm. So I was really looking for a salon that really valued all levels of stylists. So that was super important for me coming into Verde.
Yeah, I think for myself leaving the last salon that I had worked at, it was the lack of being heard and the lack of opportunity. So like when I would have an idea or want to bring something to the management team and maybe bring something into the salon, it was really just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever happened with it. So it kind of sucked because you didn't feel like as a team that you had a say in what was going on.
Yeah. And it makes you want to work so much harder when you know that your ideas have been put into what you're doing, right? Like you can look at the owner and be like, he's really taken what I've wanted and implemented that into the salon. So I think that's really important for any workplace, not only just salons as well.
Being heard, for sure.
Absolutely. Just feeling valued altogether. What was the hardest part for you when you left your last salon?
I think as someone who has been at multiple different salons and had moved back to Manitoba with no clientele, the biggest worry was always the financial aspect and trying to know like if I was going to be able to stay in this industry and try to rebuild again after doing so multiple times and not feeling like I had that stability or support. So that was definitely like the biggest fear I had going into leaving.
Mine was very similar as well. Of course, the financial aspect for anybody, but being at a salon and not knowing anything different. I know you've been at other salons, but I've only been at one salon before here. So I didn't know what was out there and I didn't know the possibilities. I just knew what I was looking for. And I was really lucky that I was able to find something that really aligned with my values. And I just knew from walking in and like having that interview and having the confidence to ask the questions that I was scared to ask before, I was able to find something that really worked for me.
Yeah, I think it's scary too. It's like going to a new school.
Yeah.
You don't know anybody and you don't know if like they think the way that you do or if they like the same things that you do. It's scary to meet new people, but...
And you're like, I'm starting completely over because we both started coming from different provinces and not knowing anybody here. So that's just terrifying all in itself. But it's nice when you can find somewhere that supports your growth and knows, even starting as like a mid-range stylist like I did, you're still valued just as much as a senior stylist and they're going to support you in your growth. They're not expecting you to come with like a million different clients already, right?
Yeah. It was nice knowing that like leaving when, you know, Colleen asked me like, how many guests do you have that would come with you? And I was like, 4 maybe, if that. And to know that like that was okay.
Yeah.
And that they would help me rebuild was, made the choice really easy.
Yeah. And just asking stupid questions, like having the opportunity to be like, I don't know what I'm doing and I need somebody to help me with that. And it's not just the management team, it's everybody.
Yeah.
So, and now we can do that now with anybody else coming into the salon too.
Support them.
Of course.
So how did you hear about Verde when you were looking for another salon?
Oh, I was actually referred to Verde by one of the Aveda, I guess she would be called like an Aveda advocate where I was. She represented our salon and kind of helped us out, but she was recommended, we recommended Verde as like a new salon. They're just starting out. And then it's probably like midnight one night and I'm like, I'm just gonna check this salon out. And I looked on their website and it looked really attractive to me. And of course, like the next natural instinct is like, look at Instagram. So I was looking through everyone's Instagrams. It's like, okay, they seem like they really know what they're doing and like their mission really aligned with where I am. They're also an Verde Salon and I've worked with Aveda before. So it just felt like a really good fit. And then I sent Rob an email at like 3 in the morning and I got an email back like 2 hours later. I'm like, this man does not sleep. So that, and then I came in for an interview and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Yeah, I knew about Verde because I had known Roberto. He was the director at the Aveda School when I was there and I knew he had opened a salon. So I had always kind of like known of it. And then it was Gabby who posted on Instagram, and they were doing a class and she needed a model. So I was like, hey, I really want to check this place out, like kind of feel out the team, see the space. And yeah, so I came in like within a minute of being there. I was like, hey, I quit my job, I want to work here. Yeah.
It's just that feeling, you know. And I knew it as soon as I walked in and I sat down with Rob and Colleen for my interview. I'm like, this is a good place for me, and I feel really valued here. So that was super important, and I just felt good. Like, it's hard to explain, but I just felt really good.
Yeah. It's a vibe. Yeah.
And it's nothing, it's honestly like not being dramatic. It's like nothing I've ever felt before.
Same.
Yeah.
100%. Still some days where it's like, is it real?
Yeah.
Do we have this?
Yeah. How did you feel the first time you ever set foot in Verde?
It's kind of what I had said before. It was just like instantaneous, like the way I was greeted and the way that like I saw the team interacting with each other. It was instantly like, okay, this is where I belong. I had really been looking for a place that valued education and supported you through education. So that was what was really lacking for me where I was previously. So to actually be going there for a class and see how involved the team was and excited that they were to be there. Like nobody seemed like kind of annoyed that they were in on a day off for education. They were all pumped to be there. Everybody was asking questions and walking around like chatting with each other. It just, everybody really seemed like friends. And that's something that it's kind of sad to say, but you don't see a lot of. And like I hadn't experienced a lot of moving back to Winnipeg for hair. So to see that, it was like instantly, I was like, yeah. I need to be here.
Yeah. Mine was a feeling, of course, like I talked about before, but it was the little things for me. I remember my first shift, I really saw everyone interacting and working well together, but I think what resonated most with me was the senior stylists and how much they actually did. My previous experience, it was a lot of like the junior stylists and the assistants doing all the really, really hard work and not feeling that appreciation, you know? But I saw, like, I remember specifically Colleen, and I was like, Colleen did my interview. Like, she's like really high up in the salon, and like, I really like look up to her as a stylist. And she was doing all her own shampoos. She was doing all her own toners. She was still also making time to help junior stylists and like help me as someone who just started out being able to ask those questions. So just everyone on the same playing field and everyone pitching in equally, was just like, it was super mind-blowing for me at the time, but now it's just the normal, which is like super great to feel. Yeah.
Did you have any doubts after starting at Verde?
I think it's very normal when you start somewhere to have doubts, not only just like where you are, but also in yourself. I think my doubt was, am I good enough? Am I good enough to be working with all of these like amazing stylists? Like, am I going to be able to be up to their caliber and doing what I do? But even through it all, I remember Rob talking to me. He's like, you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be best at what you do. You can fail, and I want you to fail. And that was just so amazing for me to hear, because I've never been given that opportunity to be like, you can fail, like you can mess up and you can do the wrong thing or make the wrong formula or ask the wrong questions, and it's okay because we're gonna help you. So that was more so nerve-wracking about myself and being worried about that versus like the actual whole experience of being here.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say that I honestly really had doubts. It was more so like, when is the truth gonna come out? Like when is the when is it gonna stop being that like the whole team is like pitching in, or like when is like the kind of like, I don't know, monster in the closet gonna what's wrong gonna come out? And it's like I've been there for over 3 years now and nothing has. So it's really nice, and that feeling is kind of gone. And then kind of what you were saying is, I think every single person, not even just stylists, always has the failure fear. I know I definitely do with a lot of things, and it kind of almost stops you from even trying or doing something, because it's like, well, what if I made the wrong choice? The nice thing is that with our team, I feel like I have made wrong choices, and it's okay, because you're just encouraged, like, make those mistakes, screw up, and then you learn from it and you move on and you try something different. It's never a slap on the wrist. It's always learning experience, which is a lot better than a slap on the wrist, I'd say.
Yeah, because like honestly, like industry's scary. Like sometimes it's scary, and it's scary if you're doing it alone and having people that aren't going to support you, and just knowing that you have that like people behind you that are still supporting you even when things get hard, right?
Yeah.
So how did it feel to become a part of the Verde team?
It was awesome. I was really lucky when I started. I started in January 2019, and then immediately in like February, we went to Montreal. And then after that, we went to Vancouver. So I had 2 trips with our team back to back pretty much. So it was a really great bonding experience. But also just feeling like, it's like the cliche saying of like, oh, we're a family, but like legitimately like feeling like I have that family and that support system, not just at work, but in my personal life. And like, if I ever needed something, like I know I would be supported. So I think feeling a part of this team is feeling like I do have a family here when my family is in a totally different province. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, mine's the same. Like I feel the exact same way. Being in a different province in your family is so hard. And just knowing that you have that support system for people that aren't blood related to you is great. I didn't start that long before you did either. And I can remember those trips, like when we went to Vancouver and Montreal, that was a big turning point, I think, for a lot of us to get to know each other outside of the salon, because you can be coworkers and like you can see each other every day, but until you're like out there in the world doing things that you love to do and just having new experiences with each other, I think that's when you can really set the tone for relationships in the salon and just getting to know people. So that was really great for me. And it felt normal. Like it felt more, like, if that makes sense. Like,
I remember going on a hike in Vancouver, the Capilano Bridge in heels.
Yep.
Worst choice, but with you and Gabby, and it was just such a fun day, walking everywhere.
Yeah.
Definitely wrong shoe choice. Walking everywhere and like just, I don't know, having fun together was really nice to do outside of the work setting.
Yeah. Because I think you can put on a face and just be your work self, but like that's what I mean by normals. You can just be yourself and that's enough.
Yeah. You don't have to have a different persona.
Of course, yeah.
How is the money for you working at Verde? It's
great. When I first started at Verde, I had no idea. Like I had no idea how much I would make, and it's nerve-wracking, like we said in the previous question, coming from a different province and not having any clientele and needing that support and knowing like, okay, I need to pay my bills. Like something's got to happen here. But when I first started, Rob and Colleen were really great with our level system and really explaining what to expect at each level, and setting realistic goals and really being able to support us to be able to make as much as we are. I've been able to like financially support myself in a city all by myself. Like I moved here when I was 20 years old, like completely terrified. Like I lived near my family my whole life. But now I've been able to like move apartments. I've bought my own house. I have 2 cats and a dog that I support. And like, I'm very lucky to also have my husband, but like, I don't really need to have my husband, you know, like I'm really thankful to have him around, of course, but being able to say I can pay my own bills is a good feeling, you know? So it's always been so important to me to be able to support myself, like having your own career before you're relying on your spouse all the time. So being able to do that and pay for everything that I ever want to, and then do that added stuff, like go on trips and be able to do that is amazing. It's a great feeling, especially I've only been doing this here in Winnipeg for about 4 years. I never thought it would be possible to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. For me, I honestly didn't think coming from Alberta, coming back to Manitoba, that I would make this money here. And it definitely, like starting at Verde and then seeing the plan kind of laid out for you. So with our system, it's very accurate in terms of like what level you're at, what your projected income is. So it's very transparent. So you kind of know and can expect and then plan accurately of like the steps that you need to take to be financially where you want to. And the fact that we can do that, I won't say at like rapid speed, but faster than I definitely thought was possible. I thought I would have to be working in Toronto or Vancouver to make the kind of money that we have the opportunity to, and that I am. So it's really nice. Same with me. I definitely never thought I would be able to buy my own house in the location that it is that fast after literally coming from zero clientele. I legit maybe had 4 people follow me from a salon that I had started at in Winnipeg, and then moving again. I was like, I'm hopping all over the place. Like, how do I support myself? I literally thought I would have to rely on my husband forever. And then you come here, and within like 3.5 years, the amount of growth that's happened through myself, but financially has made it able so that we can buy a house. So that I have been able to pay off my car and do fun things and shop.
Yes.
When I want, and buy nice things when I want. It's nice. So definitely, I would say it's a very comfortable amount. Yeah.
For yourself, what's been the difference for you between working at Verde and other salons you've been at before?
So with Verde, I've in total worked at 4 different salons. The first salon I worked at, where I started my apprenticeship, really did set the standard pretty high. So I had a lot of expectation when it came to like educational support, mainly. Like that's really what like my focus was, and where I really like needed a salon to back me on that. At the same time though, like that was a financial burden that I completely had on myself. Whereas coming to Verde from 2 other places now within the city that I had like zero support with education, I've gotten full-blown support where it's like, if you want to take this education, let's take it. And it's not just like, okay, like you'll have to figure this out financially yourself. There's support in figuring that out and help. There is financial help with it. We've had so much education that we haven't paid for, period. Like it's insane. So that's just something that I never thought was a thing that we get. So that's kind of mind-blowing. But I would honestly say the biggest thing is the cultural piece. I didn't really... This industry has a really bad name when it comes to cattiness and just kind of being disrespectful, and when it comes to like apprentices, that they get the dirty work and that they do the dirty work for you and that's their job. It's not. It's literally everybody's job, and I'm very grateful that I'm working at a place where that negative culture does not exist, because I believe if I did, I would become somebody who's kind of jaded and feels that way as well. And that's just not something that we have at Verde at all. We are truly a team. So I would say the biggest pieces are 100% the education, transparency, huge thing. But yeah, support, education, the transparency that we all have.
Yeah. Mine's very similar as well. Like, of course, the culture, but starting from the bottom to the top, just being given equal opportunity was huge for me. At a previous salon, like I previously mentioned, I wasn't given the same opportunity, unfortunately, as other stylists, and I felt as though I was really scrambling to trying to get the best out of the experience that I had. And I think I was really lucky. I was able to get the most out of where I was, but there was definitely more I was looking for. And coming into Verde, knowing that the values that I had, even as a junior stylist all the way up to a senior stylist, Rob and Colleen will take that, and being able within like 2 years to move up into like a management position, and be able to really implement the ideas that I had and be able to like share those ideas and feel like I'm heard was so important. And I think that was the biggest thing, is that, like you said, transparency, but just feeling like you're heard and feeling like you're valued as a stylist was the biggest difference coming into Verde, and feeling like I'm not scrambling for like, oh, I just need this time off, I need a break, or I really have this idea that I think would be really, really great, and I would love to implement it, and just hitting a wall. It's never felt like that. So everybody from like junior stylist up to management has always listened to everyone's ideas, and we want that creative outlook and those ideas when we're
absolutely
like putting that in the salon.
I remember the first time like I had an idea and I was talking to Rob about it, and he's like, yeah, why don't you do that? And I was just like, I'm sorry, what?
I can do that?
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
yeah, let me know what you need. And I was like, okay. And it's kind of like a scary moment, because you've been having these ideas or things that you want to see, and for so long it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, sure, yeah, that sounds cool, but not actually having somebody be like, basically, go have fun, like, do it, try it. So
giving you the space to have those opportunities is just, I could never imagine anything else now.
Yeah.
What education have we had at Verde that you really loved?
There is definitely a lot. It's honestly, over 3 years, kind of difficult to remember, but the top ones for me were when we went to Vancouver and took a master cutting course with Ricardo Dennis, and then most recently for me, I was in New York for Fashion Week in February. So doing that was really awesome. That was definitely like highlight of my career for sure. Yeah, we had Austin Call come to our salon. Gabo Hernandez came to our salon. I'll let you touch on a lot of other ones as well, but we've had a lot.
The ones that are like immediately sticking out in my head was DJ Muldoon. Like that's the first thing that popped into my head. Loved it. And just these educators that I never thought we'd be able to have, or I'd be in the same room with, right? Like Renee Godard or Ian Michael Black, like just having them in the space is just so amazing and so inspiring, and just that like pick me up and energized feeling you have after education. They're really great at bringing that out of you. And of course, like curly hair education, texture education is not something that I've had a lot of experience with before coming to Verde, and Verde being able to give us that opportunity and bringing in these amazing educators for that was like.
And to touch more on that too, it's like for previously with a lot of the classes I would take and go to, you're going with other groups and there's like maybe 20 to 30, sometimes more people from other salons, which is actually, it's really nice because you get to meet other people in the community. However, having these classes private for our salon where they come in for like a day or even 2 days to spend with us. So like having, like Ian for 2 days, Renee for 2 days, having DJ again in August coming up for 2 days, being able to have, this sounds kind of bad, but like access to those people who they are kind of like untouchable to us in a way is extremely personalized, and you can kind of have more one-on-one time and really get them to like hone in and focus on what you're doing and really kind of grow your skill set. And yeah, it's a different experience when you're doing it with your salon based on like a whole group of other stylists as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are looking for new senior stylists to join our team. So if this is something that you would be interested in, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can DM us on Instagram. You can send us an email. You can go to our website, verdesalon.ca, and go to our careers page, and we can get the conversation started.
Look forward to meeting you.